Thank you for joining me live from the grooming table. I am Amy Lee, certified professional pet groomer since 2003, but it is absolutely my pleasure to share all of my secrets of the pet grooming industry with you so you can provide the same quality of care to your beloved pets at home or the pets that you groom. With so many people wanting to learn and actually grooming their own dogs and finding that they enjoy it, and it's becoming a hobby. And it's just such an intimate space for their dog and them to share this grooming, whether it's just preparing for grooming or it's the full groom. You guys are doing it. And we found each other because of it. So the secrets that I share help you with that so that you can find safe methods to use, safe tools, how to use them, where to get them, what products work, what products don't, and where to get them. Having that space here for you to come to and learn those things has changed pets' lives across the world, everywhere. So thank you for being here live from the grooming table, but thank you for making it what it really is. Tonight, got a good topic. Don't I tell you that all the time? I say that too. I say the same things all the time, but I just love getting together with you guys and I love preparing the content for you. Tonight's topic is, does your dog's haircut look bad? Well, sometimes mine does. My Gus, my golden doodle, sometimes his haircut looks bad. But here tonight, right here in this video, I am definitely going to share my secret formula to achieving beautiful trims on the dogs that I groom. And we're specifically talking about guard comb attachments today. That's an area of struggle. So yes, there are many things that can sabotage a dog grooming session. But one of the most common struggles is definitely choosing the wrong or the right guard comb attachment for the dogs that you groom. That is a struggle that I hear you guys wanting more information on quite often. So quite frankly, I'm gonna bring it to you tonight, okay? If you don't mind. You don't mind, do you? So I'm here to tell you that choosing the wrong guard comb attachment, this is a guard comb attachment. We'll get deep into this, guys. Could definitely cause your haircuts to look bad. And there's hair that was attached to that one. So we're going to help you with that, okay? And, you know, thank goodness that you're here. That's why we do this, so that I can help you. And in this video, I'm definitely going to break down all this for you so that you really do truly understand how to choose the right guard comb attachment before you begin your dog grooming session. And, you know, these dog grooming attachments go on our A5 clippers. There's specific guard comb attachments that go on our 5-in-1 clippers. We're going to talk about both of those today, okay? I'm going to really try to clear it all up. But more than anything, if you choose the wrong guard comb attachment, your grooming session is already set for failure. So that's what I want to change. So we are going to address those 5-in-1 clippers too, guys, because I know a lot of you use them and they are fantastic and you're getting great results with them. So I'm not just going to talk A5 clippers and guard combs. I'm going to talk adjustable blade 5-in-1 clippers and guard combs tonight too, so I can cover all those areas for you in one live grooming session. My goal in this video is to give you the ability to confidently, be so confident in making these decisions before you begin each grooming session. What guard comb do I use? I'm going to teach you a method to know what guard comb to use before you turn on your clipper. So I also have something else for you tonight. I have a big thank you bonus for you. I have something free for you that I created for you, and it's going to be so helpful. It's going to be so helpful. I'm going to give it to you tonight, so just sit tight because we're going to talk about that in a minute, so stay put. I'm going to announce what that is and where to get it in just a few minutes, and it's free for you. I cannot wait. So let's get to it. Can y'all hear me okay? Everything okay out there in the internet world? Look at all of you. So good to see you. Okay, I had to just get out of my head there for a minute. I like to look at you sometimes, and if I do, it distracts me off of what I'm trying to tell you. So I just had to peek. I had to peek at you guys. I'm so happy to see you. I have some images to show you that's going to help you understand too. So let me throw up the first image for you. Throw it up. There it is. No, I'm not going to throw up. I'm just going to put it up there. Okay, we're going to put it up there. So what you're seeing is the guard comb, not attached to a clipper. Okay, this is, I just love this. I thought about this and I was like, that's what I got to show them. So how to determine the cut length each guard comb attachment is going to produce. This is important for you to understand that, to determine before you begin clipping that dog. So as you see here, and I want to show you another picture. This one might be easier. So I took the guard comb and I just put it in Gus's coat to see what will it remove. So you're like, well, wait, I'm still confused. Okay, let me get that same guard comb that I just showed you. So that guard comb is in Gus's coat like this. His hair, it's right against his skin. Here's his skin. This is all hair. Anything that sticks out past this right here is going to be trimmed. So that's going to show you before you even put it on a clipper and start using it, how much, is this even the right choice for me, right? This is going to show you. And if you're like, no, not that one, then go and grab the one that's the next size shorter or the next size longer. Maybe that's what you're after. So you put it in the dog's coat just as if it were a comb, like this. And whatever's sticking out past this point right there is going to be trimmed off. So that'll give you the idea. So let's just pull that image up for a second again. Now you really have an idea of what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's hard to explain things, but I do my best. So by performing this test that I just showed you, to do that, before you put it on a clipper, take the guard comb and run it through your dog's coat to see what it's lifting and what it will cut. This simple test before you clip a dog will show you exactly how much coat each guard comb size is going to trim. So that's pretty awesome, right? That's the test I want you to do. That's what I want you guys to do when you get your dog up on the table. This is the first thing I want you to do. And I want you to have your guard comb set, or perhaps you only have 3 or 4 guard combs that you purchased individually. Get them all out and do this test to see, is this guard comb going to, how much is it going to trim off? So that's your test. I do it if I'm not sure. I've groomed so many dogs, I know what I want to use at this point, so I don't really get hung up on that. And if I choose a 1/2 inch and I start clipping the dog and I'm like, that's not, I want 5/8, which is slightly longer. So then I'll just put it down and I'll go for that 5/8 and we'll go to town. That's how I determine. That is my secret. So now I have something else to show you. Where are we at here? Oh, right there. Okay. This is what I want you guys to have. This is free. I created a free guard comb guide. Okay. Some of you already have it. I released this a couple years ago. And apparently, you know, not everybody knows that's out there. I think it was in a video that I said, hey, it's in the description. Now, it's linked for you below to download it. It's not just this chart. It's got some simple dialogue, some text in there explaining things about guard combs that you should be aware of and what they are, why they're alike with other brands, all those things. But also in that, I think it's 4 pages. It's a PDF. In that is this chart, and you can print it out and keep it by your grooming table or put it in your little notebook, you know, and have that beside you on the grooming table. But it is linked in the description below. It's going to give you a visual of the coat length that each guard comb is going to produce approximately. So that gives you your visual. And then you follow that up with the hands-on test that I just showed you. And that's how this is going to help you feel confident about your guard comb length choices. So moving forward in your future dog grooming sessions, moving forward in that dog grooming session, you look at this chart, then you do the test that I just showed you, and you're going to say, I feel confident that that's what I'm going to use on this dog. But there's more to it than this tonight, guys. There's more to understanding guard combs. It's coming for you. You know what I'm saying? It's coming for you. So, let's get to it. You go get that guide. It's linked for you. Not right now. Just wait. But it's there. It's there for you. You go get that guide. You download it onto your computer tomorrow morning, whenever you're feeling, or you're near your printer. You print it out and you have it. That's going to be your first thing that gives you an idea of the length that each guard comb will leave and coat. Then before you clip your dog, you get that idea of what comb you want to use, and you do the dip test. You would call that the dip test. And it's where you're just sliding this through as if it were a comb. And it's going to show you anything above this is going to be cut. It's going to be taken off. That's how you determine that. So definitely use those two things and sync together, the dip test and the chart. And you definitely will have, out of the gate, be setting yourself up for a successful dog grooming session. It is common to choose at least 2 different guard combs, if not 3, for every dog that you groom. You're like, what? Settle down. I'm going to explain that for you. So let's say, for instance, I often use a 1/2 inch guard comb on the body and the legs of a dog. And then I would use, say, a 3/4 of an inch guard comb to set the length on the head and the muzzle under the chin. That's typical of what I do. My rule of thumb is this, and I'm giving it to you. To use a guard comb that is 2 sizes larger to set the length on the head. So if where's my 1/2 inch? This is a 1/2 inch. And they're identified right here, guys, by 1/2 inch. They also have a number, 1. I go by this because there are many brands of guard combs. And I just want to know how much hair it leaves. That's telling me 1/2 inch. That's what it's going to leave. This tells me a number to identify it by. I'll never remember. Oh, the peach comb is a 1. I'll never remember that. I go by the measurement. And all guard combs have it. If it's not here, it's in here somewhere. Okay? Just so you know. So what I'm explaining to you is, what do you mean sometimes you use 2 to 3 guard combs in one grooming session? I'm going to explain that. I may choose a 1/2 inch to trim the body and the legs of a dog. Okay? My rule of thumb is to go up 2 sizes, about 2 sizes, usually not higher than that, not lower. 2 sizes in guard comb length for the head, to set the hair on the head. I don't usually go with the same size I use for the body. The head's going to look really short. So I would choose 2 sizes up from this. This particular one is a 1/2 inch, so I would go to a 3/4 to set the head length, which is this guy. So that rule of thumb is go 2 guard comb sizes higher than your body blade to set the length on the head. Okay? That's a rule of thumb. Write it down. I'll wait. All right. So what about a 3rd guard comb? Why would you use 3 guard combs in one grooming session? Well, okay, so I set the body with a 1/2 inch. Maybe I want the legs just a little bit longer than the body. Maybe I'll go to the next size, which is a 5/8. See? You see it? It's a 5/8. It's also a 0 comb, but I don't care if it's 0 comb because I'll never remember that. I go by the measurement. It's 5/8. So I would set the body with the 1/2 inch, set the coat length on the legs with a 5/8 inch, and set the coat length on the top of the head, the side of the cheeks, under the muzzle with a 3/4 inch. So this is a 1/2 inch. The 5/8 is the very next length in the guard comb if you have all of them. The 5/8 is the very next length up from a 1/2 inch. And 2 lengths up from the body blade is the 3/4 inch, and that's what I would use on the head. So that's very common that I do that. And yes, whoopsies, there's still scissor work. Excuse me. I'm just going down here under the grooming table. There's still scissor work to do after you perform your guard comb work, which is also considered your clipper work. But by using the guard combs to set the length in all these areas, you save yourself so much time, and you're already setting a very accurate length of body coat, leg coat, head coat that you can work with your scissor work. It really sets you up for success. So my rule of thumb is on the head, whatever I used on the body, I go at least 2 sizes higher on the head. And that's a good rule for you guys to follow. If you want a real puffy, bouncy head, if you're doing a Bichon, you would probably go up 3 sizes, something that's really over accentuated with some length. But typically, the 2 sizes higher than the body blade, that is going to really balance your trim. So your head trim is balanced with your body. If you went too long on the head, the dog's going to look like it's got this huge head and a skinny body. So remember, we're trying to balance things out when we groom too. We want the overall look to be nice. So if you use a 1/2 inch on the body, go 2 guard comb sizes up to set the length on the head, and that is a pretty safe bet that that's going to balance the length of the head between the body and the whole groom, the entire groom. So you know, sometimes I would use a longer guard comb to set the length on the legs, like I said. Now I'm using 3 in one session. So I usually don't use more than 3 guard combs in one grooming session for one dog, 1 for the body, 1 for the leg length, and 1 for the head length. Sometimes I would just go ahead and use that body blade for the legs too. So I'm just using 2 guard combs at that point, 1 for the head, 1 for the body. So I hope that these examples prove to be very helpful and giving you some insight on how to choose your guard comb lengths before you begin to trim that dog. So now that we're talking guard comb lengths, I want to mention to you guys, a lot of you have my fail-proof dog grooming blueprint. I mean, a lot of you do. The numbers are astronomical. And I'm so happy because that walks you through how to complete a full groom. Excuse me. So if you have my dog grooming fail-proof blueprint, use that rule in combination with your blueprint. So when it comes time for head trim, use that rule I just gave you. You go 2 sizes higher on your guard comb to set the length on the head. If you don't have my dog grooming fail-proof blueprint and you're wondering what in the world I'm talking about, it is linked in the description below. I had to say it because I know some of you are right now thinking, I don't know what she's talking about. All right, so now I'm going to show you, let me show you the 3 guard comb scenarios that I just explained. Well, I did kind of show you that, but I'm going to show you on an A5 clipper as well as on a adjustable blade clipper. So this here, this is my Kenji Flash 5, and this is an adjustable blade clipper, meaning the blade adjusts. Much different than a detachable blade clipper, but it still clips the hair. That still serves the same purpose. This is a 3/4 of an inch guard comb that is specific to 5-in-1 clippers. So if you have a Kenji Flash, you have the Kenji Flash, you wouldn't have to have the additional 30 blade with the Kenji Flash. The Kenji Flash 5, which is this guy, the Joyzy Hornet. If you have a Wall Bravera or a Wall Arco, your guard combs are all going to work amongst each other. But the guard combs for this guy are not. This is a completely different blade. So that's why. But what I want to tell you about that is the guard comb on the 5-in-1 clipper, which is your Kenji Flash, and the guard comb on your A5 clipper. Right now I have a little guy on there. Get him off. They are different guard combs, but they set the same length. So when I use a 3/4 of an inch guard comb on my Wall KM10, if I then picked up my Kenji Flash 5 and put the 3/4 of an inch guard comb, can you guys see that? See, right there, 3/4 of an inch. They're the same. So this purple comb on the Kenji Flash will leave the same length as the purple comb on the A5 clipper. But you can't use this comb on the A5 clipper because they're a different blade. It won't fit. That's where a lot of people have confusion too. But so the lengths are the same. for both the 8.5 guard comb and the 5-in-1 style clippers, but the clippers themselves are different. So in other words, regardless if you use a Wall KM10 or a Kenshi Flash 5 with guard combs, the guard combs are designed for each clipper. They are still going to produce the same length of cut. I want to make sure that I made that clear. One thing that I want to help you with here before I answer your questions live tonight is if your guard comb attachment is not removing coat. This is important. This happens a lot. If your guard comb attachment is not removing coat, it is likely that you need to choose the next shorter guard comb in length. You may have a number already in mind of a guard comb size that you want to use, but your dog's coat may be too limp to be clipped with that size guard comb, or you may have a number in mind to use, a number of a guard comb that you want to use, but your dog's coat is actually shorter to begin with than that guard comb, so you couldn't use it. And that's where a lot of people get confused too. They're like, I want my dog to be a 5/8 of an inch length in coat. So I'm going to put this on my clipper and I'm going to clip my dog. Why isn't it clipping anything? It's not clipping anything. Well, if you do that dip test that I showed you tonight, you're probably going to see that this guard comb leaves more length than your dog already has coat. So that's why it's not going to work. So the dip test is going to help you. I love the dip test. Boy, we're going to definitely refer to that quite a bit, right? In videos too. So taking the test that I showed you earlier is definitely going to show you that you're on the right track with your choice of guard comb attachments. Now, I also said sometimes the coat can be too limp. What does that mean? All right, let's picture this. Let's picture a Yorkie, or let's picture some type of a terrier mix. It really has a fine limper coat. Limp. It's not real heavy. It's not real dense. It's a little limp. When you're pushing through a coat with a guard comb that's limp, the hair is going to fall away from, by the time it gets to the clipping action, it's going to fall away. So that happens a lot. And what do you do to correct it? If you're using a 3/8 or a 3/4 of an inch guard comb, you're going to have to step it back right away to maybe try the 5/8, which is a step shorter. Not a whole lot, but it is shorter. So, and then you might say, okay, now we're removing some coat. Maybe that don't work. You might have to go to the 1/2 of an inch until you see that it is actually removing coat. But if you do the dip test first, you'll already know. So that's fantastic. So don't forget to do that, guys. That test where you run it through as if it were a comb. Just start gliding a little bit through. And it doesn't glide through great with it when it's not on a clipper, but you can glide through it. And I do have a picture to show you. Let me show you that. So hold on a second here. Where's my other picture of that? There's that. No, I already showed you that. See how I'm just sinking this down into his coat, just pushing it down into his coat. And you can see the little notch at the top. That's going to be where it cuts. That little metal, the stainless steel part of the guard comb there sticking out is showing you, where's the other one? You can see what the hair that is beyond those little stainless steel notches. Right underneath the yellow part of the guard comb. That's showing you what this guard comb is going to take off. And for Gus, in this case, it's going to take off like, 3/8 of an inch. It would take off that much coat, leaving whatever length the guard comb is. So in that case, that was a yellow. That was the 5/8. That would be, this is very hard on camera. That would be leaving the 5/8 of an inch coat length, the yellow one on Gus there. So now I want to show you something else. This is super cool. So I applied this trick. Okay. I applied this trick with our friend Sean from SVCC Toy Schnauzers. And I think Sean's in the chat. I think she's here. She's usually here with us. If she can join, she does. Our friend Sean asked me to show her how to choose a guard comb attachment for a teddy bear trim as she filmed this intimate lesson for her YouTube channel. Isn't that cool? Well, guess what? That video turned out to be so incredibly helpful to not only her audience, but mine too, to you guys, to you. So I linked that video that Sean released in the description below for you to watch from SVCC Schnauzers. That's her YouTube channel. I linked it for you because it will greatly help you choose your dog grooming guard comb attachments, as well as many other important aspects of dog grooming. That was all in her video. It was amazing. And I will be making a video myself of a lot of different things that we filmed together. But Sean, thank you so much for doing that. And that video was fantastic. You did a great job. So salute to Sean. We gotta salute her. She worked hard on that video. She did that for us. This is for you, Sean from SVCC Toy Schnauzers. That was a great video. My audience is going to benefit greatly from it. Thank you so much. It's packed full of information, but a lot of information about choosing the right guard comb. So, and it was her filming me on some of her dogs. It was so fun. So definitely you're going to want to watch that video later, guys. Right now you're mine. You stay right here. It gives you something to do after we're done live. And then this is also a close-up of me showing you again how to determine how much length is this guard comb going to take off of this dog's coat. I don't have it on a clipper. I'm just running it through the coat. That's going to show me. Everything that's above the stainless steel little combs is going to be clipped off. That tells you that. It's such a great cheat. I definitely want you to use the dip test. Definitely. So let's get you some answers to your questions. I sort of set the stage. I'm hoping that we can keep questions to guard comb attachments or blades because that's on topic. So please be mindful of that so that we can have this video serve a lot of purpose for a lot of people by staying on topic. But let's get some questions answered. And Sean and I filmed a lot of things for her channel, a lot of things for my channel. Sean came, just to give, you guys are probably thinking, what happened there? This was this past Wednesday. Sean came, she lives about an hour from me. She brought 4 dogs and 2 friends / staff members that help her with her dog's upkeep in her Schnauzer sanctuary, because it's a sanctuary. But they help her with grooming. They help her with training. They also own a few of her dogs that she bred, so they have dogs to maintain, you know. So they all wanted to learn, and it was fantastic. I filmed a lot of things. One of the things that I filmed that's coming for you this week in a video from my channel, Sean reached out to me and said, I'm in the market for yet a backup. She has the Wall KM10 corded, the turquoise one. This is a cordless version of that. She said, I'm in the market for a second clipper because now there's several of us that are sometimes doing clipper work together, you know, and plus if something would happen to one of my A5 style clippers, I want a backup. And I said, well, it makes perfect sense. I said, well, that's going to be a really fun video to film here in my salon. We filmed it all here in my salon because I said, I have at least 4 different A5 style clippers to put in her hand. But what was so awesome about that video, and when I watched the footage, I could watch it over and over again. I've been editing the video. I love it because Sean had no idea how these clippers are going to feel in her hand, and she's clipping Sweet Tea, that cute little brown dog, Sweet Tea. Or no, that was Honeybee. I'm sorry, Sweet Tea's twin. So she's clipping along, and she's telling us, as she's clipping for the first time with these different clippers, what she feels about it, what it feels like in her hand. And I loved it because it wasn't my perspective, because I use all those clippers. So I know the slight differences, but as soon as I pick them up, it's already in my head that I'm not compensating or whatever for that clipper, or just the feel of it, how it's balanced. So when I filmed that with Sean, I was just clicking my heels together because she was giving the best, true, honest, first glance feedback I could ever look for to give back to you guys who struggle to understand which A5 clipper you may be interested in buying or having, or why. Maybe you're looking to upgrade and you're like, they're all expensive. Even the adjustable blade clippers are expensive. So you really got to think, I want to make the right decision here. So that video is going to be so helpful. And I also put wide blades on here for her for the first time. Wait till you see what she had to say about that. I'm not going to tell you anymore. The rest of it's a big secret, and you have to wait till the video comes out this week. But that is the next video that I will be releasing, and this week is going to be the time. So before Easter, you're going to get a video from me. And Sean is co-starring with me in that video, but it's fantastic. So thank you, Sean, for coming and doing that. We filmed a lot of things. We filmed some teddy bear head trims, how-to, on 2 different dogs, slightly different coat types. We filmed how to adjust a pet trim if you're growing a dog out. So a dog was in a schnauzer cut and now we want it to go to a teddy bear cut. How do you trim it in the meantime to grow it out to work towards that? Ooh, we got some great stuff coming for you. And with beautiful dogs. She brought 4 of the most sweetest dogs ever. So I cannot wait. And her friends, Kim and Sandy, were fantastic. All the feedback and sharing and just the camaraderie between all of us while we were working together in my salon. It was my first dog grooming party here. It literally was like a party. It was so much fun. But we were learning and filming together, and we were with awesome dogs. So, and Gus was here. He just wasn't getting work done that day, but he loved being here with us. He was just hanging out, just loving all the dogs and loving all the people. So it was really, really cool. So look forward to those videos. They're coming out. I also, on Sunday, I filmed a beautiful long-haired dachshund. I don't have a long-haired dachshund video on my channel now, do I? I will soon, so wait for that. I can't release these videos like that. I have to make them. I'm working on it. I've got a lineup. It's coming. So that is coming, and that is fantastic. That shows you a lot of blending shear work, natural softening, those types of things, because most of the work that I did on that little guy was with blending shears. I didn't clip him. I scissored him. Just the areas that needed scissored. But the areas that I did, what a big difference. It was cool. I can't wait to show you that. So now I'm going to jump in here and see if I can find any questions, because if I see you have a line in front of your question, it stands right out to me. So press and hold the dash bar so I can see your question and I can get you an answer. Otherwise, I may not see it. So I'm going up to the top and I'm going to scroll down. But don't forget to do that dip test. That's our little secret. That dip test to see how long the guard comb is going to leave the dog's coat when you trim it. I saw a question there. My chat bounces around. Apparently my fingers don't know how to work this, but I'll get it. Okay, Christine B has a question. Awesome. Says, hi Amy, would you do a whole American Cocker Spaniel with a 3/4 inch blade or guard comb? Probably. Well, there is a 3/4 inch blade. That would be very awkward to use, a 3/4 inch blade. It's a lot of metal. I would go for a 3/4 inch guard comb. So she's saying, would you use that when to shave both of the front legs are shaved? Do you just wait and grow it out to trim it? Oh, sorry. I just answered 2 questions and why I lost my question. I see Debbie M has a question. Debbie M's above her. I'll get to you in a second, honey. No worries. No, Christine's question is, would I shave a whole American Cocker Spaniel with a 3/4 inch blade? Or how would you use the 1/2 inch or the 5/8 inch and the 3/42 together? A 3/4 inch guard comb on an American Cocker, that's a very thick coat, so I'm trying to think, if we leave too much, they're just going to look like woolly bears, especially on the body. I tend to take my American Cockers shorter on the body, like with a 5 blade. And then I like to use the guard combs on the legs, like either 3/4 I think that's a lot of coat, but you could do it. You could do it. 5/8, 3/4, even a 1/2 inch on the Cocker Spaniel's legs. I don't know if you're leaving any furnishings under the belly. Some people like to take that off so it's nice and clean. If you leave furnishings, you can go ahead and use whatever length you used on the legs to trim those furnishings so it balances out. That's you know, a pretty decent pet trim. I've done a lot of guard comb work like that to cut down my time on Cocker Spaniels. They can be a timely groom because they do have a lot of coat, and it's thick. They have a thick coat, but they're wonderful dogs and beautiful. So yes, of course you could. As far as the head, I've got a video on my channel, Cocker Spaniel head trim. You watch that video. That's how you do the head. Forget the guard combs on the head. You need to watch that video. That's going to tell you how to do it, even on a pet trim. And the body, I would use a 5 maybe to set the length on the body of the American Cocker. I wouldn't use a guard comb. It's going to be way too fuzzy, a lot of hair. They are an oily breed, and I don't say that in a bad way. What I'm saying is Cocker Spaniels produce a lot of oils, and naturally there's a reason for that. It protects their skin while they're out, you know, doing their job, because they're field dogs. They're hunters. That's what they do. So their skin and coat is designed to protect them when they're out in those situations. So that's when I say they're oily. I mean, they produce a lot of oils because a dog's oils protect the skin. That's all I mean by that. But yeah, Christine, I think I would try the 5 blade on the body. Try the 3/4 inch guard combs for the legs. If you feel like it's really not, that they're still really full, you may want to go back it down to like a 5/8 inch size, which is the next shorter to the 3/4. I think you'll like that a lot. Great question. Debbie M says, do you have any cleanup tips for the 2 weeks following surgery when you can't give your dog a bath? Good question. When both front legs are shaved, probably, do you just wait for them to grow out? Oh, after surgery and blood work. Oh, I hate it when they have those peg legs. I know exactly what you're talking about. So first I'll answer the first part of that question, which was, do you have any cleanup tips for the 2 weeks following the surgery? Yeah, we cannot submerge our dogs in water, and we do not want to pour water on our dogs that have just recently had surgery. They have an incision. Bacteria can get in there. It can soften the incision. It can pull apart. That's the reason why we don't bathe our dogs for, usually it's 12 to 14 days is what's recommended from the vets. So obviously you can't take your dog to a groomer within that time period, because the groomer doesn't know when your dog had surgery unless you tell them. The groomer may think, oh, it must be 16 days, it's okay, when it was really only 5. Oh no, don't do that. So you have to, you know, be very diligent about knowing how many days since your dog's surgery, how old is that incision. It's usually 12 to 14 days. So some of the things that you can do is you can just gently get a very soft cloth, not really a washcloth, but wet it and wring it out and clean up the areas. If your dog's feet are very wet, obviously if the incision is on the underside on the belly, if the feet are dirty and they went out and they really got messy and you're like, I can't wait the 10 days or the 12 more days, I can't do it. Well, what you can do is you can fill the bathtub up about that much only, and hold your dog up so they will not sit down, and just dip their feet, soak their feet in the water. You don't need to add soap, you can, but it'll loosen right up. Right now, our new house, we don't have a seeded lawn yet. We have mud. So it's very hard with my big dog who sinks in the mud. So he's not allowed to go out in his yard right now. We have to literally walk him up and down the street to just get exercise and to go to the bathroom several times a day. Every now and then he dips a toe in the mud. He can't help it, you know. So what we do, in fact, Alex just had to do this yesterday. He thought the ground was hard enough and he let him go, and he ended up getting really muddy in his feet. Is we just have a bucket that we keep right in the mud room, and we'll fill it up about that much with warm water. This is just a bucket, and a little bit of shampoo, like a squirt. You don't want much because we're not going to be able to rinse it back off. And then move that around, and we dip his feet down in there, slosh one around one at a time, pull it out, squeeze it off, and have our towel right there to remove the excess water. And the mud just falls right out of his paw pads just by dipping them in that bucket water. So for you, you can stand your dog in a tub with very little water and wash the areas you need to wash, but keep it away from the incision. If you can avoid it at all costs, not having your dog anywhere near water while they're healing up from a surgery. That's my best advice. But if you had to, I understand, may come a time something happens, right? You gotta wash them. Try that. So the second part of your question was, with the front legs, what do you do when they got blood work and they've got this huge notch out of their coat in the front legs, and it just looks terrible, and you had them in a really pretty trim, and now it's like all you see is that big hole in the coat. What I usually do, and I would do this so many times with my client pets over the years, because a lot of them are having blood work done on their dogs every year at least, every year. So I'm seeing it a lot, Sometimes it seemed as soon as we finally get it to grow out, they had blood work again. So what we would typically do is we would go a little shorter on the front of the leg to kind of hide that. And then I would blend, scissor this back part together and just sort of blend in those areas. It doesn't take as long to grow out if you're blending it in like that and shortening the top of the leg or the back of the leg. But usually we're noticing it when we're looking at them from the front. So would shorten this down to be a little closer, halfway between the real length that we want and what was shaved. And it really brings it in and definitely doesn't look as noticeable, and it grows out faster because now it doesn't have so far to reach that coat length. So then you would do your dip test and see, well, what length would I want to get me there before you actually do it. So Debbie, I hope that helps you. Those are great questions. Questions and dilemmas we all deal with so often, isn't it? Oh yeah, Sean got to meet Gus. She said he is so sweet. He is. I'm in love with my dog. He's the best dog ever. I love dogs so much, but that dog, he is so special. He is such a good boy. Stephanie Maka says, on a 5-in-1 clipper, what setting do you put it on when you use clip-on combs? Great question. On your 5-in-1 clippers, any of the settings, let me see if I make sure I'm showing you right. Any of the settings will be okay. They will work just fine. That's the nice thing about these. One of the nice things. I usually set it to a 30. That's what I do when I'm under my guard combs. If you're a beginner, I suggest never do that. I suggest set it to a 10 blade. I can't do it backwards. I can't. Set it to a 10 blade because if you forget, and you will because you've got a lot on your mind because you're a beginner and you're thinking about all these things as you're grooming, when it comes time to take the guard comb off and do the sanitary trimming, you don't want to forget that that's set to a 30 blade and go in to the private areas of a dog. There it is. You don't want to do that. You will cause major irritation that can turn into a skin infection. You always want to make sure that your sanitary work, especially in the private areas or around the eyes or ears, is set to a 10 or less. Even 9, you could go 9 or 8 on these for the private areas with very little pressure on the blade. Can cause a lot of irritation. So for you, all of these settings are going to clip great with your guard comb. So don't stress over that. Don't think, am I using the right one or the not? Nope, you're fine. All of these settings will do just fine. So set it to a 10 and be safe. Then if you forget when you take the guard comb off, now I'm going in and clean up the bum of Buffy. It was a 30 blade. It was way too short. The dog, it hurts. It's sore immediately. We've all done it. It's terrible. We've all done it. We forget. And immediately you want to put some Skin Works on there. You can get that at Groomer's Choice. I swear by the Skin Works. It's very inexpensive. It lasts a long time. I use it for myself if I get a nick from a a shear, which I do often, and it feels good. So it calms the skin down before it can get very irritated, because the dog will be scooting on the floor, getting dirt and bacteria in the little paper cup, and it'll turn into an infection. It can be very bad. I've seen it happen. So no worries there. Stephanie, you're fine to use any of those settings on your 5-in-1 clipper. Great question. I know what you meant, guard combs. I know exactly what you meant. No worries. Rebecca says, would you comment on which blade to use under the guard comb? All right, just did. Great question. See, this is on your minds. 2 people, bam, bam, asked that question. And that's why I'm so glad you asked your questions. So obviously that's something a lot of people wonder about. Which one is okay to use under there? Now let's say we're using this guy. This is a detachable blade. So the only blade size that's on here is the blade that I physically put on. I suggest the same philosophy for your A5 style clippers is a 10 blade. A 10 blade does a beautiful job on under a guard comb. Sometimes I use 30s. I'm convinced in my head that it makes a difference, but I haven't technically seen that difference. Sometimes I feel like it's smoother, but I really think it just depends on the coat type I'm clipping, whether or not I see a difference. But a 10 blade, you cannot use anything less than a 10 blade. Some people think they can use a 5 or a 7. You can't use a 5 or a 7 under a guard comb. First of all, you never get it to fit. You'll break the guard comb. But a 10, 15, or 30 blade only can be used on a detachable blade clipper for the guard comb. Okay, great question. We need to revisit this stuff every now and then because it gets confusing. I know it does. So I'm glad that you guys asked your questions. Lois has a question. Lois says, hi, Amy. Hi, Lois. Says, my Shih Tzu Squirt has a thin, fine, and cottony coat. That's a difficult coat to clip. So you got that to deal with. I know exactly what you're talking about. I trim her body with a 4F, so a 4 blade. But I want to try the pillar legs. Should I use guard combs to try this or scissor the legs? No, of course, you're going to still have to scissor, but the guard combs are going to set that length for you right away. I have videos on my channel how to do the legs. A lot of the videos I did with Big Gus, my Morky video, I'm pillaring those legs by skimming with my guard combs and then finishing off with scissor work. So you have to use the dip test, and you also, when you're doing pillar legs, you don't want to just run along the dog's leg. You're just basically contouring the shape of the leg. You have to do a little skimming. I know you don't know what that means, maybe not, but go watch the video with my Morky. Morky, I forget, he's the cutest dog ever. His name is Gaby. You'll see what I mean. That's a scissored pillared leg when I use guard comb attachments to get me there. A lot of the times you'll see me grooming in my videos with Big Gus. I've used guard combs to get me there. We use them all the time, all the time. That's a great question. Court Jester says, just want to wish you a wonderful day. Thank you, Court Jester. It's always a wonderful day when you're here with us. And thank you so much for the stream. Are you kidding me? Of course. Thank you for joining me live from the grooming table. This is where we make a big difference in the pets' lives that we groom. So thank you. It's good to see you, Court Jester, as usual. Christine B says, thanks, Amy, for the tips for my Cocker Spaniel, and sorry for the confusion. No worries. I don't read and talk quickly and well, so I probably botch it up so much. I meant guard combs and not blades. I know what you meant. It's okay. Oh, okay. I would use a 5 on the Cocker Spaniel body or a 7. So, yeah, no problem and no apologies, okay? Hey, Elsie. Elsie's here. Elsie says, are you going to Intergroom in New Jersey? I'm planning to go for that weekend. I've been thinking about it a lot the last week because Rudy asked me if I was going to go from Grooms by Rudy. Grooming with Rudy. What's his channel? Why can't I think of, where's my brain? Grooming with Rudy. Grooming by Rudy. He's my friend. What's wrong with me? So anyway, he asked if I was going too. And I said I currently wasn't planning to because Easter's this weekend, which I have a members live stream for you guys my channel members, I have a members live stream that I had scheduled already accidentally for Easter. So I had to switch it. So I switched it to the following Sunday, which is the weekend of Groom. And I know that sounds like a stupid reason to miss, but I promise my members that I will give them a monthly meeting with notes, and I try to do everything I can to stick to that. So it's rare that I will not. Now, I sometimes change a date, but it's usually close together so that we can keep our monthly meetings. I know that sounds silly. So that's on Sunday. So I was like, I got to do that Sunday. And then I thought, well, maybe I should just go Friday. And I may do that. I may. But I'll tell you, Elsie, I hate the drive there. I absolutely hate it. The drive to Groom is awful on the New Jersey Turnpike, as well as the venue is so congested, the surrounding area, and where you have to park. I remember parking in their silly little baby parking garage that was supposed to house all of us for this event, and I could hardly open my door to get out of my car. I was like, I gotta get stuff back in my car. I'm buying stuff. How am I gonna do it? I can't even open my doors. You have to back your car out and block traffic to get stuff in and out of your car. Anyway, I don't know, Elsie. These are my excuses. I know you didn't ask for excuses. If I went, it would be definitely more than anything to see you guys, to see you, Elsie, to see Rudy and Anthony. I don't know. I may go, but I do have that Sunday members meeting, and oftentimes I'm still preparing content with the days leading up to that. So I don't know. I may surprise you. If I do go, Elsie, I will certainly message you personally. I'll text message you and let you know if I'm going to go. But I know it's pretty close for you. Maybe it's a little far for you too. I'm not sure. Raquel says, can you look any more beautiful? You haven't aged a bit since the day I met you 7 years ago. Not true. I have. It's called makeup. I feel my age these days, but only in my looks. In my head and my heart, I still swear I'm like 18. I know I am. I am. Raquel, you're the sweetest. I love you. And man, is it nice to see you. We haven't seen you in a while. I'm so happy to see you. Wiggle Butts Grooming, my favorite channel name. I have to laugh at that. Can you use any 5-in-1 blade on Kenchi Flash, or are there specifics? Yes. There's one other blade you can use on the Kenchi. Oh, wait. Flash or Flash 5? Flash, no. On the Kenchi Flash, the white clipper or the black one, that is strictly a blade for the Kenchi Flash. However, you can use the guard combs made by either Kenchi that are 4 5-in-1 clippers. A guard combs for this, the Wall Bravera, or the Joy Z guard combs made 4 5-in-1 clippers. But listen up, everybody. If you use guard combs with your Kenchi Flash, the white clipper, the one of my favorites, you must first purchase the 30 blade that goes with that clipper. The adjustable blade will not work with these guard combs or any guard combs. So you have to first purchase the 30 blade for the Flash. The Flash 5, no. The Flash 5, you can use all those guard combs with it that are for 5-in-1 clippers. It's all good for the Flash 5. But for the Flash, you have to purchase the separate 30 blade and then the guard comb attachments that are for 5-in-1 clippers. Okay? That's a good question, and I know it gets confusing. It is definitely confusing. So, good question. Diane says, Amy, when doing Asian fusion on a dog's legs, the dog's legs of a Yorkie, is the short groom area just before the elbow? And it depends on the dog and their body structure. You can have one Yorkie and another Yorkie side by side and be trying to put the same trim on each one, and it will look different because the dog may have shorter legs than that dog. They're still Yorkies, they're both Yorkies, or the one might have a deep chest, which, they're not really supposed to, but they might. So that throws it off. So when you pinch off, yes, it is more on the side of the elbow where you scoop and flare out, start to flare and then flare, flare, flare towards the end. The elbow is, they do like them to look pinched at the elbow and then exaggerated with the wider legs that go into like a bell bottom look. It's not an easy trim to pull off, so you would have to practice it a lot, definitely, especially if you're honing it in on one specific dog, so you could work with that dog over and over again with the same trim. Then you would get really good at that trim on that dog. But the Asian fusion, there's a lot of creative, there's a lot of skill level involved in a lot of the Asian fusion looks. And I don't want you guys to try that and to feel discouraged if it doesn't work for you. It's hard. I want you to know that making the Asian fusion look great requires a specific knowledge set as well as a game plan. Now, I will tell you this, if that's a trim you want, I suggest you head over there to Groom House, GROOMHAUS.com. You can purchase individual courses at a certain price. Usually they're like 60 to 100. They have a couple specific Asian fusion trims that you could watch over and over and over again if you purchased it, or you can join them as a membership. I think that's $35, maybe it's $39 a month, and watch any of their learning videos. But I know for a fact that they have a couple Asian fusion videos that would help you tremendously, because I don't have an Asian fusion trim on my channel, and it probably never will, because it just isn't something my audience is doing a lot of. So it would, for me to grow a dog out to be able to showcase that and have to keep maintaining that coat for a video, the video probably wouldn't do well on my channel. So I hate to be selfish, but that's the reason I wouldn't do it. You probably aren't going to see it from my channel, but I want you to go over to groomhouse.com, and I think the answers to your questions are definitely going to be there. Guys, I am so glad to see you again tonight, as always. I'm going to let you know my last few announcements. If you haven't already signed up for my free dog grooming weekly newsletter that comes out every Friday to your inbox at 8 a.m., sign up for it. It's linked in the description below, and it's free. And I put a lot into that. I put a lot of tips and tricks, just things that you can think about, you know, one topic. Just throw a few things out there if you think about. There's links if it requires you to link to something, the links are there. It's very informative. So it's in the description below. My channel members, my hounds, all you people that have that pretty icon beside your name, you're a hound. I will see you Sunday, April 7th. So that's not this Sunday. This Sunday is Easter, but the following Sunday, I will see you at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when we are getting together live in our Zoom monthly learning session. The topic is pairing a shampoo with a conditioner, and sometimes mix and matching different brands is better. So we're really kind of talking shampoo and conditioner. What shampoos and conditioners are great for different coat types, and is it okay to use an iGroom shampoo and a Petals and Tails conditioner, or sometimes I absolutely would choose that, and why I would do that. That's our members meeting. If you're not a channel member, there is a link below. It's amazing the information you get for $4.99 a month. It's less than a cup of coffee. It's amazing the information that you get. So it's linked in the description below if you would like to join my channel at the membership level, and I would just love to have you. It is fantastic. Our next live from the grooming table, this live stream, is scheduled for Monday, April 22nd at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So set your reminders, because I would love to see you again. You know I would. I'll have a great topic for you, I promise. And lastly, now in closing of this live stream, I will leave you with the Farmer's Dog Super Bowl commercial that touched hearts of dog lovers all over the world. Are you ready for it? If you would let me give you a free box, that's what I meant to say. I would love to give you a free box of the Farmer's Dog, which is a 2-week supply. fresh food delivered to your door. There's a link below. If you click on it, it will walk you right through the process of just signing up your dog, ask you a few questions, and boom, in about 4 days, there's going to be a big box sitting on your porch or your side porch or in the driveway, and your dogs are going to be staring at it because they could smell it already. And it's wonderful. This is what I feed Big Gus. I would love to give you a free trial, so the link is there if you're interested in trying it. If not, I still love you, but fresh food is definitely beneficial for our dogs. We have all learned way too much about that. So let's watch our Super Bowl Farmer's Dog commercial. Are you ready? Thank you guys. I love you very much. Thank you for being here. You're the best. You've made this channel what it is. So thank you. Kudos to you. Long live dogs.